I thought my dad died in a crash until I saw him in my neighbor's backyard. Asterisk asterisk. The day my father died was the day my world stopped. Was 14. It was raining outside. Mom got the call in the kitchen. She dropped the phone. Then she screamed. I had never heard her scream like that before. I ran into the room. Barefoot. She was sitting on the floor, shaking. It's your dad, she said, barely breathing. He's gone. There had been a car crash. Highway 39. They said it flipped. They said it caught fire. They said it was instant. They said there was nothing left to identify, nothing to bring home. Just ashes. I didn't believe it, not at first, but the funeral happened. Closed. Casket. People cried. I cried. Mom didn't stop crying for weeks. Then she didn't cry at all. Just silence. Grief changed. Her dad had changed me. We stopped celebrating birthdays. We stopped going to the beach. We stopped smiling. Years passed. I tried to move on, but I never really did. Dad was my everything. He called me kiddo. He used to tuck me in every night, even when I was 13. He made breakfast on Sundays. He taught me how to ride a bike. Then one day, he was just gone, and no one ever explained why it had to happen. We moved houses when I turned 18. Mom said we needed a fresh start. So we packed what little we had and left. New town, new neighbors. New life, or so. I thought. Our new house was small, quiet street, normal people, nothing suspicious. Until the dog. 2 doors down lived the golden retriever. Every time I passed the fence, the dog went wild. Snarling. Growling. Throwing himself at the wood panels like he knew me or hated me. I thought maybe he was just territorial. Until the day I saw the man. I was walking home from the store. It was around 6 p.m. The sun was low. The wind soft. I passed the fence. And then I saw him, a man, watering plants. In the neighbor's backyard. He had gray hair, denim shirt. Jeans. And the same posture I remembered from somewhere. He turned slightly, and I dropped the bag I was carrying. My legs froze. It was him. My father. Older. Tired. Looking. But undeniably him. Blinked. He wiped his forehead with a rag, then turned and walked inside the house, like nothing was wrong, like he wasn't supposed to be dead. I stood there for a long time. Staring. Breathing heavy, thinking maybe I was losing my mind. Maybe grief had finally broken me. When I got home, I didn't say anything, not at first. I didn't know how to. But later that night, I sat across from Mom. I saw someone today, I said. Someone who looked like Dad. She went still, very still. Her wine glass trembled in her hand. That's not funny, she whispered. I'm not joking. She shook her head. He's gone. You know that. Are you sure? Her eyes met mine. Cold. Flat. I buried him. Eden. But she was lying. I could feel it. In her voice. In her hands. In her silence. I waited until the next day. I walked by the neighbor's house again. Watched. Waited. At 4:15 p.m. The man came out again, watered the same flowers. Same denim shirt. Same walk. Same scar on his hand. A scar I remember because I gave it to him when I was 9. We were playing catch. He tried to catch the ball with bare hands. He missed and scraped it on a rock. He laughed it off, but the scar stayed. And it was there. On this man. I walked up to the porch and knocked. A woman answered, late 50s. Sharp eyes, tight smile. Hi, I'm Eden. I live just down the street. Oh, welcome, she said politely. I'm Carol. I think I saw your brother in the backyard, I said, testing her. Her face flickered. He's not very social, she said quickly. He's had a rough past. What's his name? She hesitated. Jim. Jim. My father's middle name. I felt a wave of nausea. He looks familiar, I said. Carol's smile vanished. I'm sure you're mistaken. Then she closed the door. Fast. Too fast. That night, I dug through old boxes. Found an album. My 10th birthday. There was Dad, holding my cake. Smiling. Denim shirt. Same face. I stared at it for hours. It was him. No doubt. No mistake. I brought the photo to Mom. Look at him, I said. I saw him yesterday. She pushed the photo away. You need to let go. Tell me the truth. There's nothing to tell. But her hands trembled. The next day, I followed him. He left the house around noon. Walked to a small hardware store, talked with the cashier, laughed at something. He had the same laugh, the same voice, the same expressions. I kept my distance, watched from behind. Shelves. People greeted him by name. Jim. They thought he was Jim, but I knew better. I had to confront him. So I waited until evening. Went back to the house, knocked again. This time, he answered. Up close. It was undeniable. Those eyes, that voice, that smell of old aftershave. He blinked at me. Like he recognized me too. My heart raced. Dad, he stepped back. Sorry, I think you've got the wrong. I know it's you. Carol appeared behind him. Go inside, she said. He didn't move. Why? I whispered. Why did you leave us? He looked down. I'm sorry. Then he closed the door. Just like that. I stood there for what felt like hours. Tears burning my face. Then I walked home. Mom was waiting on the porch. Like she knew I'd gone. We need to talk, she said. And I nodded, because I was done with lies. Mom sat on the couch, her hands wrapped tight around her coffee cup. She looked like she hadn't slept. Neither had I. You saw him? She asked. I nodded slowly. Her eyes filled with something between fear and exhaustion. I guess it was only a matter of time. What does that mean? I said, nearly shouting. She didn't flinch. She looked down. Then back up. And everything she said after that broke my world again. That man you saw is your father. I stared. I knew it, I whispered. She exhaled slowly. Her hands trembled. As she placed the cup on the table, I didn't want you to find out like this, she said. So you were lying? I asked. This whole time? She nodded once, her voice cracked. He didn't die in that crash. Tears filled my eyes. You told me he did. I thought it was best, she said. Best for who? Silence. Tell me everything, I said. Now. She looked like she was choking on her memories. Then she began. When you were little, your dad got involved with something dangerous. Money, business, people who don't play by rules. He told me bits and pieces, but not all. I just knew he was scared. One day he came home pale. He said we were in danger. That night he made a call. I still don't know who it was. But within a week, the plan was in place. A staged accident. A fake death? He said it was the only way to keep us safe. My whole body shook. You went along with it? I didn't have a choice. We were being watched. He said if I told anyone, they'd find us, they'd kill us. So you had a funeral, for a man who wasn't dead. Mom nodded. They gave us a closed casket, something to bury. Something to make it real. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Why didn't you tell me the truth after? Because even after the threat passed, we weren't sure. And I thought, maybe it was better this way. I stood up. Tears streamed down my face. You let me grieve him for 10 years. She looked broken. I'm sorry, Eden. But I didn't say anything else. I left, walked right out the door, and went back to the house. Carol answered. This time, she didn't pretend. I figured he'd be back, she said. Can I see him? She sighed. Then stepped aside. There he was, sitting at the kitchen table. My father. Alive. He stood when he saw me. His face crumbled. And he whispered my name. I froze. Then sat down across from him. No one spoke for a long time. Finally I said it. Why? He took a shaky breath. I was trying to protect you and your mom. I had done things I shouldn't have. I owed money to people you never want to meet. I knew they'd come for me. But I couldn't let them come for you too, so I made a choice. I disappeared. I stared at him. Why didn't you come back? I wanted to. So many times, but I didn't know if it was safe. Carol helped me keep tabs from a distance. I knew when you graduated. When you turned 18. I saw the photos on social media. I clenched my fists. I needed you. I know. You let me think you were dead. I know. You destroyed Mom. I know. He looked down. I wrote you letters, he said. Carol brought out a small box. Inside were envelopes, dozens of them. All addressed to me, all unopened. I didn't send them because I didn't want them traced. I didn't want them to lead someone back to you. I pulled one out. My name was written in his handwriting. Just like when I was a kid. I couldn't hold back anymore. I sobbed. And he did too. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I never stopped loving you. I never stopped being your father. I didn't know what to say. He reached across the table, and I let him hold my hand. It felt like I was 10 again, but different, because the pain was older now, and heavier. We talked for hours. He told me about his life in hiding. Jobs under fake names. New addresses every few years. Always looking over his shoulder. And then, eventually, he said the threats faded. But by then, too much time had passed. He didn't know how to come back. I didn't think you'd forgive me, he said. I don't know if I do, I said honestly. But I want to understand. He nodded. That's more than I deserve. The next day, I went back. And the day after that. And slowly, we began to rebuild something. Not the past, but maybe something new. He made me tea, showed me old photos I never saw, one of him in a cabin in Montana. One of me, printed from Facebook. He said he looked at that one every day. I missed so much, he said. I nodded. Double quotes. Yeah, you did. We sat in silence, and then I asked, why did you live so close to us? He smiled a little. I didn't plan to. Carol moved here for work. I came to help with repairs. And then I saw you. But I didn't know how to approach. I was scared. So was I, but I was also angry and confused, and still hurt. But under all that, I still loved him. Some things don't die, even when people do. But just when things started to feel stable again, Carol got a call. I was sitting in their kitchen when she answered. Her face went pale. She hung up and looked at both of us. They found you. My father froze. Are you sure? She nodded. Someone traced a payment. A mistake. They're watching again. My stomach dropped. What does that mean? We have to move, he said. No, I said. I just got you back. I'm not losing you again. But the fear in his eyes was real, and deep down I knew this wasn't over. His silence after Carol's words crushed me. They found you. That's what she said. And just like that, the fear came flooding back. Dad stood frozen, his hands clenched. Carol's face was pale. She left the room to make a call. I looked at Dad. I can't lose you again, I whispered. He looked torn. I won't let them hurt you. What does this mean? I asked. Are they coming here? I don't know, he said, but we can't wait to find out. When Carol came back, her voice was low. They flagged an old transfer, 3 years ago. It matched a name. It was enough. I felt cold all over. Can we stop them? I asked Dad. She shook her head. They'll come. They always come. Dad's face dropped. He looked like a man reliving a nightmare. Then what do we do? I asked again. He stared at the wall. Disappear, he whispered. Again. No. I said loud. You just got back. I won't let you vanish again. He looked at me with sad eyes. I can't put you at risk. Carol sat down. There may be another way. We both looked at her. But it's risky, she said. It means going public. Exposing everything. Dad went still. What? Carol nodded. You testify. Hand over names, documents, full confession. Help the government bring them down. They protect you. Dad stared at her. His voice was soft. Will it work? It's the only chance we have. She said that the next day. We drove into the city. Met a man named Patrick. Tall, sharp suit. No smile. He worked with federal protection. We told him everything. The laundering. The threats. The faked death. The years in hiding. He took notes. Asked questions. Then he looked at Dad. If you testify, we can offer full protection. No more running. Dad looked at me. If I do this. I nodded. You're not doing it alone. We signed forms, gave names, turned over papers. It felt real. Now. It felt like we were fighting back. We went home. Waited. The next few days were too quiet. Then a black car showed up. 2 men in suits. They knocked on Carol's door. Dad answered. He talked to them. Came back in. They know, he said. They're watching. What now? I asked. He looked at Carol. We pack. That night we moved. Government escort. New town. New names. Again. But this time, I went with him. Mom didn't. She said she couldn't do it again. I love you, she told me. But I need peace. I understood. So it was just Dad and me now. And for the first time in years, we were together. Really together. He wasn't a ghost anymore. We talked, we laughed. We cooked, played cards. Sometimes, just sat in silence. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. He testified a month later. His evidence helped crack a huge case. People were arrested, powerful people, and we felt a little safer. One night, we sat outside. He handed me a letter. Old. Warren. Unsend. I opened it. It was written the year I graduated. He wrote about how proud he was, how he saw my photo online. How he wished he could be there. I looked at him. I wish you were too. He nodded. I was just from a distance. I believed him. We kept rebuilding. Slowly. One night, I called him Dad. He froze. Then he smiled. Then he cried. So did I. But peace doesn't last forever. One morning, a letter arrived. No return address. No stamp. Just a piece of paper. 7 words. We know where you are. Be ready. I looked at Dad. And I knew the past wasn't done with us yet. The letter sat on the kitchen table. Unmoving. Just 7 words. We know where you are. Be ready. Dad stared at it for a long time. His face was blank. Then he stood. We need to go. Again? I said. My voice shook. He didn't answer. He was already packing a bag. I followed him. Dad, we've run enough. He didn't stop. They found us. It's over. Then we fight, I said. He froze. Looked at me slowly. You want to fight them? I want to stop being afraid. Carol came into the room. She'd seen the letter. They found the address, she said. But they didn't find you. Not yet? What does that mean? I asked. It means we have time. Hours, maybe. I looked at Dad. We tell Patrick. He nodded. We called him, told him everything. He didn't sound surprised. They have connections inside. He said, you rattled someone. That's why they're coming. Can you protect us? I asked. I'll send a team, he said. But you have to hold tight. How long? By nightfall. Maybe sooner. I looked outside. Clouds were gathering. Rain started falling, and the clock started ticking. We locked the doors, closed all curtains. Dad checked the windows. Carol loaded a small gun. I never thought I'd need this again, she muttered. I sat on the couch. Heart pounding. Every car that passed made me jump. We waited. Waited for them. Or the agents, whichever came first. I asked Dad, what do they want now? I testified, he said. I named names. They want to silence me. You're not alone this time, I told him, and I meant it, even if I was terrified. Hours passed, still nothing. It was nearly sunset. Then we saw headlights, a black SUV. No plates. Slow. Creeping. It parked down the street. No one got out. Carol stood at the window. That's not Patrick's team. What do we do? Dad walked to the door. And locked it again. We don't panic, he said. They don't. What a scene. But they will come. Minutes later, someone knocked. A soft, slow knock. 3 times. Then silence. Then again. Knock, knock. Carol aimed the gun at the door. Dad stepped in front of me. I held my breath. The knocking stopped. We waited. Then footsteps. Around the side of the house. Another window. A shadow moved. Someone outside. Dad whispered, they're testing us. Suddenly glass shattered. Back window. Carol turned, a gun raised. Stay down, she shouted. A figure stepped through the broken glass, dressed in black, covered face, holding something. Dad moved fast, tackled him to the floor. Carol aimed, but another shadow appeared at the back door, kicked it in. They were coming in from all sides. More. 3. I screamed. Carol fired. The gunshot was deafening. One man dropped, the others scattered. Dad was bleeding, his arm cut from glass. We hid behind the couch. They shouted something. Foreign language. Fast. Then more gunshots, but not from inside. From outside. Blue lights flashed. Sirens. They were here. Patrick's team. Agents swarmed in. Yelling. Guns raised. The men in black tried to flee. They didn't make it far. Tackled. Cuffed. One tried to run. He didn't get far. It was over in minutes, but it felt like years. I helped Dad to the table. He was pale, then alive. Paramedics cleaned his wound. Patrick came in, looked around. Close call. What took you so long? Carol asked. We had to follow the SUV, he said. Wanted to know where they were based. And? I asked. He nodded. We got what we needed. Your father's testimony just became bulletproof. They confirmed everything. The case is going to trial. Dad looked exhausted. But it's over? Almost, Patrick said. You'll be moved again. Safer, full watch. Until the case ends. We were relocated within 2 days. Another name. Another house. But this one felt different, not like running, more like recovering. We had guards. Check ins. No secrets this time, and for once, I felt safe. Dad and I spent every day together. We played chess, took walks at sunrise, watched the trial unfold on a hidden laptop. We watched the men who haunted him be led away in chains. We watched the old life fall apart in courtrooms. We watched justice happen. And then one day, Patrick called. It's done. They're gone. You're free. Those words echoed in my mind. Free. We didn't know what to say. Just sat in silence. Then Dad turned to me. What now? We live, I said, and we did. We planted a garden. He taught me how to fix an old car. We adopted a stray dog, and I started writing again. I wrote everything. All of it. The grief, the truth, the pain, and the hope. Months passed. One morning, I woke up early. The house was quiet. Sunlight spilled through the window. I walked into the kitchen, and there he was. Dad cooking pancakes. Wearing that same denim shirt. He turned and smiled. Morning, kiddo. That voice, that smile. I smiled back, because for the first time in a long, long time, I didn't feel like I was surviving. I felt like I was finally living. We were free. At least, that's what Patrick said. The case was over. The criminals were in prison. The threats were gone, and for once, life felt calm. Dad and I stayed in the safe house a little longer, just to be sure. No more fake names. No more running. No more secrets. But even with peace. The damage was still there. We both had scars. His were deeper than mine. He carried 10 years of hiding in his eyes. I carried 10 years of grief in my chest. But we were trying to heal, trying to live, trying to be something like a family again. We started doing small things. Eating breakfast together, fixing the fence. Playing chess at night. It was quiet. Sometimes too quiet, but it was peaceful. And peace was something we had both forgotten. One morning, I woke up to the smell of coffee. Dad was in the kitchen, reading the newspaper. He looked up and smiled. Morning, kiddo. It still made me tear up. Morning, I said, sitting across from him. He poured me a cup. I was thinking, he said. About what? About moving somewhere real, I blinked. You mean, a real house? He nodded. No more hiding. No more safe houses. Somewhere we can plant a garden. Maybe near the coast. I smiled. I'd love that. So we packed again, but this time, it wasn't running. It was moving forward. We found a small house by the ocean. 2 bedrooms. Old. Porch. Big. Windows. It was perfect. We painted the walls. Together. He let me pick the colors. We went shopping for furniture. Laughed over a couch that smelled like old soup. We were building something new. And it felt right. But healing isn't simple. One night, I found him outside, staring at the sky. Silent. I walked out and sat next to him. You okay? I asked. He took a long breath. Sometimes I wake up and forget it's over. I still check the windows. I still expect to run. I nodded. I still have dreams that you're gone again. We sat in silence. The stars were bright that night. Then he looked at me. I missed your whole life. Not all of it, I said. You're here now. Days passed. We planted a garden in the backyard. Tomatoes. Basil. Sunflowers. Dad built a birdhouse. I painted it sky blue. We started cooking together. Tried baking once. Set off the smoke alarm. He laughed so hard. He cried. I'd never seen him laugh like that. It was one of the best days of my life. One afternoon, we got a letter, this time, a real one, from Patrick. It said, we've closed the file. All security protocols lifted. You're no longer under surveillance. You're safe. Dad read it twice, then handed it to me. Wanna burn it? He asked. I shook my head. No, I want to frame it. That weekend, we invited Mom. She hadn't seen him since the move. I wasn't sure she would come, but she did. She stepped out of the car, slowly. And just stared. Dad walked up to her. Neither of them said a word. Then she hugged him. Hard. Like 10 years of pain were pouring out. I turned away. Let them have their moment. Later that night, we had dinner together. No tension. Just laughter, like a family that had broken, but not shattered. After she left, Dad sat beside me. You think she forgive me? She already has, I said. You forgave me too, he whispered. I smiled. You're not that easy to stay mad at. He laughed, that old laugh. Time moved on. We adopted a dog, named him Buddy. He followed Dad everywhere. Even in the garden. Especially in the garden. Dad built a swing for the backyard. I sat there every evening, watching the sun go down. Life became soft. Simple. Beautiful. But one day, everything changed again. I was walking home from town, stopped to grab coffee. The barista smiled at me. You're Eden, right? I paused. Yeah, how do you know? She hesitated. Saw you on the news. My blood froze. What? You and your dad? That trial? The testimony? I forced a smile. Oh, that was a long time ago. She nodded. Still, crazy story. Glad it worked out. I walked home, hands shaking. When I got back, I told Dad. His face went blank. You think people remember? Maybe, some do. We kept our names out of it. Mostly, I said, but you know the internet. He nodded. We didn't say anything else, but I could see it in his eyes. The fear, the doubt. That night, he couldn't sleep. I found him in the garage, staring at the boxes. Old files. Newspapers. Everything from the past. He looked up at me. I thought it was over. It is, I said, but people forget slowly. He nodded. I'm tired of being afraid. Then let's not be. We made a choice. We deleted every trace online, locked down accounts, burned old files. And then we let go. Really let go. We didn't talk about the trial anymore. Or the threats, or the past. We lived. Year passed, then 2. The garden grew wild. The swing got worn, but we were happy. I started college online. Dad started painting. He wasn't great, but he tried. But he got old, slept more than he ran, but he still followed Dad everywhere. On my birthday, Dad gave me a letter. Handwritten. Tied with a blue ribbon. I opened it slowly. Inside were 3 pages. He wrote about the day I was born, the first time I walked. The first time I rode a bike. Things he remembered. Things he missed. I may have missed. Your milestones, he wrote. But I never stopped being proud. I cried. He hugged me. I love you, kiddo. I love you too, Dad. Sometimes, I still think about that first day, when I saw him in the neighbor's backyard, when I thought I was seeing a ghost. But it wasn't a ghost. It was a second chance. A miracle in disguise. A truth that hurt, but also healed. He's older. Now moves slower, but he's happy. And so am I. We built a new life from broken pieces. We found peace in the wreckage, and even when memories haunt us, we know one thing for sure. We survived, together. Years had passed. But the memory of that moment, the moment I saw my dead father in the neighbor's backyard, still felt like yesterday. Life was different, now. Peaceful. But sometimes, the quiet scared me more than the chaos ever did. Dad was aging. I noticed it in small ways. His hands shook. Sometimes, he walked slower, forgot little things, but he was still him, still my father, still the man who came back from the dead to rebuild something real. One cold morning, I found him sitting on the porch, wrapped in his old coat. Buddy lay beside him, breathing slow. "Everything okay?" I asked. He looked up, smiled. "Yeah, just thinking." "About what?" He tapped his temple. "Time, and what we do with what's left." That week, he started sorting his things. Old papers, journals, even photos from the years he was gone. He handed me a worn notebook. "Read it when you're ready," he said. I didn't open it right away. I wasn't sure I could. Then one night, I heard him coughing violently. He waved it off. "It's nothing," he said, but I saw the blood on the tissue. I took him to the doctor. He didn't argue, not like before. They ran tests. Scans. We waited days for the results. Then the doctor called us in, and just like that, our new piece cracked again. "It's stage 4, the doctor said. Dad was calm. I wasn't. "How long?" I asked. "Maybe months, maybe less." My throat closed up. Reached for my hand. "It's okay," he said. "No, it's not," I whispered. We went home in silence. That night I opened the notebook, the one he gave me. Inside were letters. One. For every year he was gone. He wrote one on my birthday. Every year. He told me about where he was, what he was doing, how much he missed me. I cried until my body ached. The next morning, he sat me down. "There are things I want to do," he said. "I don't want to waste what time I have." "Okay," I said, "let's do them." We made a list, he called it. Things I want to see before I can't anymore. Visit the lake we used to fish at. Watch the sunrise on a mountain. Write letters to everyone we hurt. Forgive myself. Dance once in public. Laugh so hard I cry. Plant a tree. Hear your voice reading something I wrote. Sit in silence without sadness. Say goodbye properly. We started that weekend. We drove to the lake. It was still there. Still. Beautiful. He cast a line into the water. Didn't catch anything. Didn't care. We laughed. Talked. Remembered things. Forgot the pain. For a little while. Next we went to the mountains. He had to stop halfway. Too tired. So we sat right there. And watched the sunrise. Together. He smiled. "Close enough," he said. We wrote letters next. To Carol. To Mom, even to the agents who helped us. He apologized. Thanked them. Owned up to his mistakes. Wrote a few too. Then we burned them in the fire pit. He said, "The words are out now. That's what matters." One night, he asked me to dance, right there in the backyard. He played an old song on his phone. Held out his hand. I laughed, but I danced with him. Under the stars. Just the two of us. He moved slow. But he moved. He smiled the whole time. So did I. SOME. Days were harder. He was weaker. Sleeping more, eating less. But he never complained. When Buddy passed away, Dad cried for the first time in months. "I thought I was ready," he said. "You don't get ready to lose love," I told him. "You just survive it." He planted a tree in the yard. A cherry blossom. Said it reminded him of second chances. Even if he wouldn't be there when it bloomed. We sat beside it every day and waited for the first bud. One evening, I read his writing aloud, his old journal entries. He closed his eyes, listened quietly. Smiled. "That's the sound of home," he said. Then, near the end, he stopped talking as much, not because he didn't want to, but because he couldn't. His body was tired, but his eyes still lit up every time I entered the room. The last night, he asked for one thing: sit with me. So I did. Held his hand. He looked at me. And whispered, "Thank you for finding me." Tears filled my eyes. "I never stopped looking," I said. He smiled, then closed his eyes and never opened them again. We buried him beneath the cherry blossom tree. Spring came early that year. The first blossom bloomed the day after the funeral. I sat under it. And cried, but this time, there was peace in my grief, because I knew I didn't lose him. Not really. He came back to me. He gave me truth. He gave me love. He gave me time. And I gave him a goodbye, a real one, not like before. People say you only get one life, one father, one childhood. Maybe. But I got something rare. I lost my father, then found him again. And in the end, we saved each other. I still sit by that tree. Sometimes, read his letters. Talk to the wind. And when the blossoms fall, I feel like he's there. Smiling. Watching. Proud.